Welcome to our discussion today, diving deep into Tucker Carlson's message about the Epstein cover up and the larger issues surrounding it.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts. So, what strikes you most in this speech?
Tucker really lays it out by starting with the controversial, provocative question, why aren't we allowed to ask questions about Jeffrey Epstein?
Yep,
It sets the tone for questioning the silence around a major scandal.
right, and it seems like he uses that as an entry point to criticize the mainstream narrative, doesn't he?
Absolutely. He points out how the Epstein case isn't just a typical scandal. It's like a window into how power operates, linking Epstein's actions to broader political and international issues.
And then there's the section on Epstein's alleged ties to the Israeli government, which really gets people talking, right?
Exactly. Tucker dives into conspiracies suggesting Epstein had connections with influential circles, even mentioning his interactions with Israeli government ties, which he feels are overlooked on purpose.
But isn't that part a bit controversial? I mean, some argue there isn't enough evidence to make those links definitive.
That's a valid point. Tucker's approach is more about challenging the conventional narrative and urging us to scrutinize these relationships rather than handing us cold, hard facts. It definitely
Right.
sparks debate about accountability.
Moving on, the speech also touches on what he calls pointless, endless foreign wars. How does that fit into his overall message?
Oh, that's an interesting part. He connects the dots, arguing that these wars are, in a way, distractions. It's like he's saying, hey, while we're busy fighting overseas, important domestic issues, like this Epstein cover up, are being swept under the rug.
So he's essentially challenging the priorities of policymakers and the media by questioning what truly matters for America's future.
Exactly. It's like he's painting a picture of a divided focus. While American citizens face significant issues here at home, larger global conflicts are used to mask a lack of accountability domestically.
And then there's the segment on debt. Debt is killing Americans. That caught my attention too.
Yes, that's a powerful segment. Tucker argues that our enormous national debt is not just an economic statistic. It's a kind of silent killer that undermines the well-being of everyday Americans.
Right.
It's presented as yet another example of how systemic issues are ignored.
I mean, when you connect the dots between the cover up and issues like debt, it does evoke a sense of a broader systemic failure. But don't you think this connection might be a bit of a stretch for some?
Well, I get where you're coming from. It's a bold move to bundle such diverse issues together. However, Tucker's argument is more about showing that these problems have common roots in the abuse of power and systemic cover ups.
It's like he's saying that whether it's Epstein or the national debt, it's all about the same irresponsible actions at the top.
Precisely. And then he transitions into what he calls America's message to the ruling class. This is where the speech becomes almost a rallying cry.
Right. He seems to be urging everyday Americans to demand accountability from those in power, almost like a call for populist uprising.
Exactly. He frames it as we won't be silenced and we can't ignore these injustices any longer. It's like he's challenging the establishment to answer for its actions.
Yep. And then there's a Q&A session appended to the speech, which adds another layer to the whole presentation. How do you interpret that?
Oh, the Q&A is crucial. It provides a platform for further probing questions, like whether there should be amnesty for farm workers or how America should view dual citizenship. It broadens the discussion beyond just the Epstein case to touch on immigration and the broader political climate.
It feels like Tucker tries to connect these different issues to paint a more comprehensive picture of American governance, doesn't it?
Absolutely. In his view, all these topics, be it Epstein's links, endless wars, or debt, all tie back into a systemic exploitation of power. It's a mosaic of discontent directed at the ruling class.
What really stands out to me, though, is how he uses rhetoric to drive home his points. It's almost theatrical at times, isn't it?
It really is. Tucker's style is rhetorical and forceful. It's like he intentionally employs provocative language to stir up emotions and get the audience to question the status quo.
Yeah. But you know, there's an argument to be made that this kind of assertive rhetoric might oversimplify complex issues. Do you not find that a little concerning?
That's a fair critique. While his approach ignites discussion, it might sometimes blur the nuance required for a subject as complex as international politics and domestic policy. However, It also serves to rally those feeling ignored by traditional narratives.
Right. True, and his use of elements like the Q&A segment really adds a layer of interactivity and relatability to his message. It almost feels like he's directly engaging with the audience's doubts.
Exactly. The Q&A helps humanize the speech, making it not just a monologue but a dialogue with America. It pushes the conversation into realms where people can actually see themselves questioning authority.
And in doing so, he isn't just, presenting accusations. He introduces provocative questions that force listeners to reflect on their own perceptions of power and cover-ups.
Precisely. It's an invitation for critical thinking. Even if, as you mentioned, it might be a bit heavy on rhetoric, it undeniably highlights areas where mainstream media and political discourse have, in many ways, fallen short.
So, overall, do you think Tucker Carlson's approach effectively challenges the established narratives? Or does it risk oversimplifying them?
I'd say it does both. On one hand, his clear, no holds barred questioning forces us to think outside the conventional lines. On the other, his broad strokes might gloss over the intricacies of these deeply complex issues.
That's a nuanced take. It's almost like he's trying to incentivize people to dig deeper themselves, rather than just accepting official explanations.
Exactly, and that's really the essence of his message. Even if not every detail is airtight, the call to question and critically engage with the information presented is vitally important in today's media landscape.
Right. I appreciate how he poses discomforting questions, even if they stir up controversy. It's a reminder that democracy thrives on informed debate, don't you think?
Absolutely. And while one might challenge the veracity of every claim he makes, the broader conversation about transparency and accountability remains essential.
Yep. It will be interesting to see how this narrative influences public discourse in the coming months, especially as more voices weigh in on these topics.
Definitely. Tucker Carlson's blend of provocative questions and pointed criticisms aims to ignite a broader discussion, one that transcends just this case and delves into systemic issues in our society.
And although his method might not win over everyone, the questions he raises are crucial ones for a healthy debate, ensuring that we don't simply accept information at face value.
Exactly. Whether one agrees with his style or not, the underlying call to scrutinize established narratives, hold power accountable, and demand transparency is a conversation worth having.
Right. Well put. It's been really engaging discussing how these layers, from Epstein's cover-up to broader national issues, intersect in his message.
Absolutely. Thanks for the lively exchange. It's been a stimulating ride unpacking these complex topics.